So hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar. We are going to go through how to monitor device internals in a Xamarin application. And for this webinar, my name is Chad Church. Well, my name is Chad Church all the time, but for this webinar, I will be your leader. We go through this sample and give you some ideas of how you can manage some device internals and use Syncfusion controls to make really pretty apps while you are doing it. So today, as far as device internals, today for this webinar, that means the accelerometer, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and the GPS or the geolocation. We chose these because over the past 2 months, this have been the most common how-to type questions with our Xamarin controls with Syncfusion. Well, how to with do stuff on the device. We thought we would make a quick sample, put it all together, and I would make a webinar out of it just to kind of show everybody how you can do those things. And let's jump into a sample. So I'm going to show the sample on my device, and here it is. This sample is using downloading NuGet packages, and with the NuGet packages, you will need to get a Syncfusion license onto your device, into your project. And I'll show you how we do that right now. I'm showing you that message because you're going to get it when you download the sample, and I want to show you how to solve it. So here is how you get our license key. Once you hit our web page, you sign up, you do a download, get an evaluation. If you're a hobbyist, then you'll get a community license, and from your actual account, you can come here and get your license key. And then you'll read depending upon your application. You'll put it, for example, Xamarin Forms. You'll just add these 2 lines, the register and the Syncfusion license. Put the key in there, and you're off and running. You'll never see the message again. Now let's go look at it. This is the app here. On this app, just to give you an overview of how this app is laid out, across the top I have a tab view. So this whole thing is set up as a tab view. The first tab, I have a couple of gauges in it, some buttons, and I have another tab on the bottom. This tab shows the circular gauge and the chart. And this is the part that actually monitors the accelerometer. And it does this. So here is the accelerometer. I'm moving my phone up and down. If I move it left and right, if I change the orientation, then we actually get a better picture. The gauges get a little bit bigger. And we've overridden, we've customized the orientation. I'll show you how we did that in just a minute. We also have this as a chart. The gauges are super cool, but I thought the chart was cool. I saw this on a drone application, and I believe the usage was to tell the chart when the drone is hovering. So it's hovering, everything's kind of flat. If it gets buffeted by wind in any fashion, then based upon the direction it got buffeted or moved, you can adjust your rotors, your motors to go faster and to accommodate that and keep the device still. So this is just what I thought was a cool use for it. Now the Wi-Fi, this is just, we're going to scan, we're pulling up, these are all the Wi-Fis that are available to me here in my office. We'll show you how to put that together. Bluetooth, it's the same thing. Now most Bluetooth devices don't have a name, they only have the address. And so you see just a bunch of addresses. And the last thing we're doing is we're actually getting a pin and putting my geolocation onto a map. In this case, I'm using OpenStreetMaps, and we have that pin there. We can zoom in if we wish, and we can see that I'm located in Raleigh, North Carolina. Well, technically, we're in Mooresville, Research Triangle Park, but this is where we are, so where I am today. So where Syncfusion is, the headquarters for Syncfusion is located. So let's step back, and let's go look at the code and see how all of this was put together, shall we? And here is my project, my Xamarin project. I have a .NET Standard 2.0 project here. I have an Android and I have iOS. For this particular sample, we're using Xamarin Essentials. This is something that we picked up. We saw it from Microsoft. We think it's going to be a cool thing. Here it is. This is the Xamarin Essentials, and this is this is going to let you talk to all your device internals on your Xamarin applications. We have, well, Xamarin Essentials give you the accelerometer, both your app information, your device, your geolocating, You check your magnetometer. You can make this into a magnetic device to look for iron, perhaps. Maps, open browse. You can do all this here with it. We have focused today on the accelerometer and the geolocation. And again, this accelerometer, I mentioned the drone interface, but really this is just going to let you know whether your device is being moved. Perhaps somebody's jogging with it and you're seeing a step counter. You can tell how often it's going up and down, count your steps. You want to know, you want to use it as a flying device or as a wheel or a rotator. This is, accelerometer is why you'll do that. And then the geolocation, this is going to reach in and get the device GPS. So if you want to know where the device is, get that GPS position, and then pin it to a map or whatever you want to do with it. You can do that. Maybe you want to record the geo positions and make a track of where somebody's been. That's why you'll use this here to go. Okay. So here we go. We're in the application. And we're starting off with the main page. In this particular sample, we are using our Syncfusion list view, maps, gauge, chart. That's how we're using them. We almost have the top controls for our suite. For this, we have the tab view I have set up here is going to be image with the text. That's the image across the top. If we look at it, that's here. So the image with it, this is the image. If I added some text to it, I could display text, but there's really not that much room. And the header content, to set this up, we'll do a header content and then give it just some source images here. And these actually live in the device. So if we step in, we're going to see them here. This is the Bluetooth, and then Wi-Fi, GPS, accelerometer, and the Bluetooth. They live here. Now, in this first tab, we have another tab view. I'll put it on the bottom, and we have two headers. And in this, I've put a circular gauge. And my circular gauge is actually down here. Okay, here's my circular gauge. And I have two buttons. I'm going to start reading and stop reading accelerometer. And down here we have three gauges. And circular gauges are here. Now, these are all parameters that you set for the circular gauge. We're setting the tick settings, the needle pointer, all this information here. Now, all this information is something that you can find in our help. So this is exactly here, help.syncfusion.com. This steps you in, and this shows you all of our controls and what you can do with it. If you want to change your scales, information's here. If you want to do your pointers, this is all the pointer information in here. Whatever you want to do with it, change your type, change your settings for it. It's all available here in our help. So come look at our help as you're going through this, as you're playing around with our controls or looking at anything. The circular gauge, the chart is here as well. I'm going to show you the chart in just a minute. A lot of things you can do with it. There's a lot of different series you can show. And speaking of that, we also have our Xamarin controls. We have our Explorer app here on Google Play. Come and download this now if you wish. This is just a simple little solution project that you can come in and you can see all of our controls all put together in a little application just to have a play with it. If you go to our website and you actually download our Xamarin UI controls, then you will get the solution that we use to make that app in Google Play. So you can step into the code and see how everything was actually put together and wired up and all that. Okay, but let's go back to our app here. We're doing this, we got the gauge set up, and then we have the chart set up here. And the chart is here. We have given it chart axes, intervals. Now I want the chart axis to actually flow. So you saw how it flowed. Let's go back to it real quick. So you saw how it flowed. I'll put it on start. It's actually flowing and moving. It's doing this because I told it, or I did not tell it, did not give it a start and a stop position. I did not give it a minimum and a maximum. Here, so that lets it flow. And I'll show you how I'm changing that data in just a minute. The chart does expect to be data bound. So I do have to calculate that information. I do have to record all those accelerometer data points into some collection. I'm using just a observable collection that's going to do all that for me. Now the chart set up, I have a simple line series. If I had wanted something else, maybe I wanted to put a spline, so a curvy line instead of a straight line. Or if I wanted a column candle or a column series, I could do any of this. And I could do multiples at the same time. So if I want a column and a line, this is how I would do it. And I don't want any of that. I want to keep with what I had. Okay. So this is how the actual chart was set up. This is the view for that. And let's go take a look at the code. So here's my code behind page. I'm coming in. I have some variables set up here, some variables set up here. The main page is loading up. We're setting a speed for that, for the accelerometer. How quickly do you want to pull the accelerometer for changes? And then I'm having, as a reading change, I'm handling this event so I can create my data object. And this is my data object. Okay, let's step in here. It's down here. So my chart data is fairly straightforward. It's just this. Not a whole lot going on. We just have X, Y, and Z, and we have a time setting. That's how I'm storing my data. And then I'm binding the chart to this. Now, let's step through this, go down this page a little bit here, and on SizeAlc, this is where I'm actually handling the rotation of the screen. This is how we're doing this here. And when it changes, when it goes from being horizontal to portrait to landscape, we're doing this, we're firing this event, or we're firing this method, and we're actually changing how we're drawing the particular UI with that gauges. Just the gauges is all we care about. We're changing how we're drawing that so the gauges look good. If we don't do it, then we just get the same thing that just squishes down really small. So we did this so it kind of spreads out. You can come and you can look at this yourself once you download the samples. So on the reading changes, this is where we're storing the data. It comes in as a parameter on this event. We're storing it here. Then I am creating my data object, and I'm applying values to it. So this is how we're actually getting it to be just the last 40 data points. I just want the last 40 data points, so it's a scrolling chart. This is how we're doing it. Because it's an observable collection, it's going to reach out, it's going to it implements iNotify, and it tells the chart whenever a point is added. So when we add the new point here, the chart gets notified and it redraws itself. So all you have to do is update the data object this way. And then start reading prompt. This just tells us that we're starting, and we're starting the accelerometer class. Again, this is from the Xamarin Essentials. And this is it. It's fairly straightforward. There's not a whole lot going on. You can set this up. It's pretty easy to set up. All right, and that's it. That's how the accelerometer works. And just to touch back at it, this is the accelerometer. Circular gauge. We're starting it. We're rotating it. Showing the chart, and then we're stopping. Very good. Now let's take a look at the Wi-Fi. Let's see what we did for it. How is it set up? Now, Wi-Fi is it's our list view. Again, we're still taking a tab view, customizing content, putting a particular picture in there, but we're actually doing the list view. List view, we're binding it to the Wi-Fi view model, and Wi-Fi view model. This is the Wi-Fi view model here. It's just showing us these is the Wi-Fi info, then here's my collection. We're just populating this as we scan. We do a scan event, and it's going to populate this. All right, generate book info. This is it. Actually does give us a Wi-Fi list. Okay, and that's how it works. It goes and gets the information from the actual device. Oh, it does this in the Android. So let's go look in here. So this is where it's actually getting it. Now, for Wi-Fi, we are using an Android device, an Android actual application. Mhm. And a ton of control over what you're actually doing with the device. Let's go here to the definition. So this is its application here, Mono Android framework. You have the Wi-Fi manager. You can check a ton of things on the Wi-Fi, manage it directly as you wish. When you download this, our iOS app does not have the Wi-Fi list. In order to get the Wi-Fi to run in Android and iOS, you have to come in, you have to request access to the Any Hotspot helper. We didn't do this for the sample app. We're not sure. Most of our customers may or may not need this access. And we didn't want to add it to our device because it's not available to you. So if you need it, you can come here, you fill out this form, you go get it, you go back and forth with Apple, and it'll just appear as part of your environment when they give you access for it. But this is how we're actually getting the Wi-Fi info. Okay. Now, let's go back and let's look at what's next. What's next is the Bluetooth. Bluetooth information is here. And again, this is going to be similar to Wi-Fi. We're just going to scan and get all the Bluetooth connections. Now, for the Bluetooth, we are actually using Bluetooth BLE. Comes as a NuGet gallery. We're downloading it from here. Plugin.ble is it monitors low energy connections for your Xamarin application. That's what it does. And this is what we're using for that. So we downloaded this to the application. You can come here and download it. Perhaps this will be part of Xamarin Essentials soon, and then you can download it from there. And to get the Bluetooth, we have it here. Well, let's go look at the XAML. Start with the XAML page actually first. So Bluetooth, we're getting here the stack layout. We're getting the Bluetooth view model, which is just a collection of the Bluetooth devices. And here we're populating it. We're using a data template. So the majority of our controls are customizable at the UI level with a data template. We, as a philosophically here at Syncfusion, we want you to fit our controls into your application. However you need them in your application, we want them to work that way. So we do things like a data template to let you customize exactly how it's going to look on your device, or customize what you need. Most of our controls will use a data template for aspects of the UI. So that is a general concept across our controls. In this particular case, we have created a data template. Within that, we have a grid with some columns and rows, and here we're actually adding a name and an address. Again, most of the Bluetooth, there are some Bluetooth devices that have names, but most of them just have an address, and it's here. And then to look at the Bluetooth, well, here's our Bluetooth model. It's a fairly straightforward model. You can play with this, change it as you see fit. And to get our Bluetooth connector, we're just going through it this way. Now, all right, so the next thing is to show our GPS is next. Here is our GPS. So again, we're using OpenStreetMap. We're getting the geolocation. We're adding a pin to that OpenStreetMap so that you can see exactly where you are. From here, if you wanted to keep a collection of pins, then you could have an array of pins, and you could draw a line. You could just have multiple points. You can do as you wish. Just showing you very, very simple implementation of how we're doing that. Let's go take a look. So here is our GPS. Here's the page for it, the UI for it. And we are creating our maps, our SF maps. We're setting some parameters for it. We give it an imagery layer, and we're calling it OSM, OpenStreetMaps. We have a number. We have a couple here. It can be Bing. Well, we have Bing. We have OSM. You can use either of those. We are not resetting on double tap. You can make a template. We're creating a data template for the image layer that you're going to put on top of the map. In this particular case, it's going to be a data template. And we're going to put out it's just a picture. We're putting it on the map wherever it's supposed to be. That's what we did. This is the picture, the UI of what's going to go on a map. And if we go look at our images, it's kept here. This is the actual guy. This marker, this is what's going on top of the map. Now let's go take a look at how that's put together here in the code behind. We are running with the add marker. And here we go. Here's our add marker. So we're getting the geolocation, the last known. So this is the last time this device synced up and got a connection. That's what we're doing. And again, this is how you use the Xamarin Essentials. It's straightforward. We have a couple options here. I chose get last known, so in case I don't have in case I can't get back a location, I at least have something to return. I am in a building, so it could be touchy. So we get last known location here, putting it in, and then we're adding that marker to the map for the latitude and the longitude value that comes back as part of it. And this is just some custom marker we put together. In this case, it is just that little image. It's implementing our map marker item class to do this. Okay. And this was a walkthrough of what we're doing with this small sample. You are more than happy. We are more than happy to come and let you download this, play with it, give it a whirl, see what you think, work with our controls, go from there. And with that, I'm going to wrap up the presentation. Oh, one more thing before I do that. About Syncfusion, we have been around since 2001. We started with Windows Forms, and we've grown out to have a collection of controls across most any development environment that you want to do with your mobile, your desktop, your web, JavaScript, all that. We have over 1 million users registered for us. Our Succinctly books are very popular, and we have over 100 of them. They're meant to be about 100 pages max. That's a target, is 100 pages for our Succinctly books. And they're on a lot of little topics, or a lot of technical topics. We have a lot of them. Come take a look at that. And I mentioned before, the community license, if you're a hobbyist or if you're working on a project on the side, then come get our community license. It's free. You have access to all of our controls. You have access to all of our support. Come talk to our support team, ask them any questions you need. We would like to come back to you with answers, with code snippets. That's how we want to interact. We want you to be successful with our controls. And now that being said, we do have a Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn. We have presence in all these places. Come sign in, link up with us, follow us on all these platforms, and you'll get the latest updates from Syncfusion. You get to hear the newest stuff we're doing just to stay abreast of what's happening. We are constantly adding new functions, new functionalities, new features, new controls, and it might be cool. You might see something that you need for your work, for your development, for your side projects. We're here. We should have our goal is to meet all your development needs. Let us know. And thank you everyone for coming. We appreciate it. Everybody that was signed up will get an email once the posting is live, the blog post and the YouTube channel. Once everything is posted live, you'll get an email notification. Come, you can download the samples, you can look at the blog and look at every single question. The answer for it will be there. So thank you very much for your time. Have a good day.